This is Mindforked. We're back. Hey, guess who's back? Mindforked's back. And I'm so happy to be here. And I got some people backstage. Welcome to this lovely. It's Saturday. I even wrote down that it was Sunday. I don't know why, but it's Saturday. And I'm coming live from Oklahoma. And I'm so glad you guys are out there. And I see some people in the chat, and I'm super excited. I got people backstage. Thank you to David Hurley again for that intro song. He made that song for me. Or he actually might do something else, but then it totally applied to me, so I took it. So it's technically not mine. Let's just roll with that. They're friends of mine. They understand that I performed their wedding ceremony. I can say whatever I want as part of my contract. So welcome on this lovely Saturday, and I got so many people. Yes, Oklahoma is okay. Let me go scan real quick before we bring in the panel, because we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. I got Lulu Bell is here, and Cindy. I know that you're in the middle of dinner, sweetie, so I totally understand. The Butt Files, nice to see you. Did I say I have a really bad short-term memory? So Cindy, Lulu Bell, and oh my God, Kelly Lewis is here. Hi. Oliviero's coming to us from Italy. He's awesome. And then we got Moon at Noon. Hi, Moon. And let's see, he's been here from early. He got here like, oh my God, and Diane Boss is in the house. The Cosmic Carousel is here, and you'll see her backstage shortly because she is Marley, and she is here with us today. I got Marley backstage, also known as Sati on Twitter. I got Ben Yorkshire Gaffonian backstage. We're just so excited. And I have Helen of Crystals, lovely Helen. We all love her. Can't wait. So Richard, hi. So I'm so excited to see people from Spaces. We have a nice little mix of people in the house today. I saw Paper Crane earlier here. Let's see. Anybody else? If I miss somebody, don't worry. I'll get to you. But I was telling the panel I had a really long week this week. So if I'm a little bit off my game, just bear with me because it's just been a long week, but I am super excited to cover the topics we have today because for the first time ever, we're going to be spinning the wheel with a panel and with Open StreamYard, which I'm going to drop after I introduce my peeps here. So hang in there. So welcome. I'm going to start welcoming my friends. I got friends from Spaces and YouTube. It's a new song. So here we go. So I'm going to bring in the famous Helen of Crystal. Say hi, Helen.
Hi, Helen. Hello. Hiya. Hi, everyone.
I'm so glad you are here. Helen is going to be on audio only today, but we have a system on how I'm going to know that she's like raising her hand, all that fun stuff. And another person in the panel today, we got Ben Yorkshire Gaffonian. Welcome, Ben. And last but not least, and there's going to be more later, I got my special co-host, my sister, Marley. Sati is here. Hello. And Sati, this is a follow-up. This is a follow-up to one of our previous shows. The last show we had, we covered you're a shaman, you're a healer, you're so much. And everybody, I want you guys to kind of introduce yourselves. As my special panel today, oh my God, we got Dorothy Hawkins. Dorothy Hawkins, hi, honey. So glad to see you. And I'm going to do one thing real quick. I'm going to go ahead and drop this StreamYard link for anybody that wants to join. I'm going to first focus on setting the stage for what will happen today. So I've usually had like a guest and maybe a co-host for Wheel of Topics. It's been a one-on-one, but this is going to be different. This is going to be just a little crazier. We're going to have multiple people, but we're going to stay, number one, respectful as always. Number two, if you do join StreamYard, which I just dropped, if I don't know you and we've talked, it's fine to be off screen like Helen here, but please be on screen, especially if I don't know you, because I want to make sure that that we stay respectful because this is going to be a nice couple of hours. So before I just keep blabbing, how you guys doing? I'm going to start at Helen of Crystals. Helen, how you doing today, Helen? And introduce yourself for our clan here, for our Mindfork clan, and tell us how you doing.
I am good, Chris. I hope you're well. Um, I don't know how to introduce myself. I think everyone here knows me from chat anyway. Pretty much
Yeah,
everyone. So yeah, it's just me.
it's just Helen. But Helen, you're coming. Where are you right now, Helen? Tell us where you're
I'm in
at.
the UK. I'm in the South UK.
I know we got international, Helen. Hi, I want to say hi to Fifi Figueroa. Figueroa. Where did I come up with Figueroa? Fifi Barbora is in the house. I gave you a new name, Fifi. So we got one person from the UK. So let's just go down the line to Mr. Ben Yorkshire Gaffonian and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're at.
I'm from Yorkshire in the UK, same close to Helen.
I know that's so exciting. And what are you kind of you were talking to me all kinds of stuff, you're really interested in all kinds of different things including tarot and tell us a little bit about what you do in the space, just hanging out. What do you like? Tell us a little bit about Ben. Is Ben frozen? Ben froze. Did Ben freeze? I think Ben is either frozen or having a Cindy
Oh,
break. There he is. There he is.
my
Okay.
connection's really bad over here for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay. Go
But,
ahead, Ben.
I'm just into general fields of it. I've tried the tarot cards. It just interested me. General
We're gonna be
aviation as well.
Yeah, that one's a really interesting one. So we've got a couple of topics on the wheel that I think you're going to be interested in. A little surprised that it's actually it's still you listen to it. You inspired the surprise. Let's put it that way. So, and of course, last but not least, Marley. Just tell us a little bit about yourself again. I know this is your second time. You're my bestie here. Just tell the clan here.
Well, hello, everybody. It is so great to see you all here. Ben, Helen, I'm so glad you're a part of this today. Everybody in the chat, we love you guys. I am in Tennessee, USA, but I wanted Ben and Helen to know my dad. I do have a lot of English ties. My father was born in the UK in Norwich, Norfolk. And so a lot of my family is in England. And, I'm a shaman and a holistic healer and Akashi, and I do spaces together on the X platform, which I absolutely love. And I absolutely love this. And I've been so excited for today's show, part 2. We're doing it, guys. Love you.
Part two. So thank you, Sati, and thank you, you guys for Sati, Marley. I'm gonna go by Marley today, but it's Sati on Twitter, so that's where we kind of hang out. So let me say hi to a couple of more people before Bobby McBride. He is such a sweetie. He's always so supportive. So glad you were here, bud. And I thought I said somebody else, but maybe I didn't. So, what is going to happen? So, first of all, right before I have to share this just to break the ice because you know how I am. So, I was thinking of a wheel of topics, right? I'm going to play, first of all, what is the wheel of topics? I'm going to give you it actually has its own intro. Let me play it real quick and I'll tell you about it. Hold on.
It's time to spin the Mindforked wheel of topics. What will we talk about next? Yeah, the Mindforked wheel of topics. Go on and give that wheel a spin. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you love that? So that is the point of the wheel of topics. So that's our intro song. I'm going to show you the topics that are on the wheel. Oh my God. Oh my God. I have to stop for a second. Juan Falcon is in the house. Juan Falcon is my friend from high school, and he's going to kill me because I haven't been on WhatsApp in ages. And he's been trying to find me, and he just did. Mwah, Juanito! I love you, buddy. So I've known him since kindergarten, you guys. Kinder in Puerto Rico. Anyway, so back to the show. So hopefully what does not happen. So you saw the wheel of topics right before the show. I saw this and I'm like, this is about, if anybody has seen it, probably cracked up. This is what should not happen today. This unfortunate moment comes to us from Wheel of Fortune. Hold on. I'm going to take this off. Hold on, please. Where's my Wheel of Fortune? I'm trying to find it. Hold on a second, because this is hilarious.
Tavares, right in the butt? No. Blake.
This is the best.
Yeah, that's it.
So hold on.
Tavares, right in the butt?
I have to pause this.
What?
So we will not be doing that. Hold on. We will not be playing that game. So hopefully things will go a lot better. I don't know if you guys heard that, but this happened on live TV this week on Wheel of Fortune. So when we spin the Wheel of Topics, we're going to keep it clean and it's going to be nice. And oh my God, I am so thrown off because I can already tell that Juan Falcone is saying you are dead. He has now hunted me down from Puerto Rico to my chat and I am dead. Thank you, Juan. And Josh Castro just joined the chat. Hi, Josh. So nice to see you. Oh my God. And we got so many people and kind of freaking out. So I want to go ahead and start. Hides and Long Grass is here. So if anybody wants to join, oh my God. And guess who's here? Was that a knocking I heard, Marlene?
Yep. Yes.
Guess who joined right as you knocked? Are you ready? We got Carnundrum is in the house. Hi, honey. Take yourself off mute.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh my God, right on time. So good to see you. I got so many friends. So why don't we go ahead and do our first, spinning the wheel? Because before we do that, I got to actually present the topics on the wheel today. The topics on the wheel today. By the way, Car, you just got out of that game, didn't you? Where are you at? Share with everybody.
I just got home. So, and I got a clean shirt on and I'm ready to do this. I'm sore. Oh, I'm sore.
Oh my God. I can't imagine. So thank you so much for doing this anyway. So we got Canada, we got UK, we got Tennessee and Oklahoma represented. So let me show you the topics that are going to be on the wheel today. Topics on the wheel, perfect timing as he walks in. Animals, our connection with animals. It cannot be denied that, part of the collective consciousness is, our relationship with animals. It's like how do they play, so much importance in our life? We have a couple of people here in the panel are going to go talk about that. So I'm excited about that. Oh, the real crop circles. Yes, folks. We got real crop circles, and then we have faux crop circles, because as anything, including in ufology, you got your real and you got your fakes. So we're going to be talking about that. And I'm so glad we got some people from the UK here, because we're going to be talking. And then in the wheel, we also have the beings. This is a wheel spot that's meant to, if you have an experience that you want to share, if we have people who have interacted with the beings here in the panel, which I know that we do, I'm going to go ahead and open that up if that's where the wheel hits. And then a new segment. I'm so excited. A new segment called Surfing the Ley Lines. Surfing the Ley Lines with me. And what we're going to do during that segment is we're going to go to different parts of the world that have been aligned, told to be, aligned with ley lines, right? It's like, how are these places connected? So I've got some places for us to talk about. And then because you have to have fun and we got to keep it active, we got to do our calisthenics. Guess what? It's like end of May, right? What's coming? Summer. What happens in summer? Summer camp. So with that in mind, I have a new segment that we're going to be playing called Camp Forkeyua. Camp Forkeyua is we're going to be playing some games in the middle of this. Yes, Camp Forky, because that's Forky. Forky's my little brain. He's so cute. I think that Car is a little disturbed by my AI art here. Yes, Camp Forkeyua. And what are we going to, I'm going to spin the wheel before we go there. Once we hit that, I'm going to give you a preview of what we're going to be doing. So are you guys ready? I feel like I'm highly caffeinated, and I just waterboarded you guys with a bunch of stuff. Please speak. You guys okay?
It's awesome.
All the topics.
Yes.
Whoop, 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 whoop. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're doing this live. It's like Bill Riley. Yes, Diane says, Chris, you're so funny. I've just lost my mind, honey. And we got Fifi thinks it's hilarious. And then Archangel Ezekiel. More of these YouTube shows. They're great. I'm glad Sati's doing better. Yes, she is. Look at her. She's so happy. And Dorothy Hawkins. Yes. And for Kiua. Oh, and we have a special. We do have a spot on the wheel that looks like this. That spot is the one that's going to be a surprise for Bet. And only a couple of us knew what's going to happen there. So we're going to have some fun there too. So, okay. So let's present that wheel, shall we? It's time. Mindforked Wheel of Topics. Okay. Can you guys see the wheel? We got a little wheel there. I don't want to make a big screen because every time I do it, mess up. Are you guys ready?
Yes, ma'am.
That wheel. Seriously? That's the first one that comes up. You see, this proves that the wheel is not rigged. Shit. Okay, well, we have, oh my God, this is, I'm going to respin because that's for a little later. We got to warm up to that. And since it's my show, are you guys okay if I respin that one? Because that is a game, and we need to get into some topics before we do game. Let's do this again. Come on, wheel. Don't do me wrong. Do it right. Alrighty, here we go. So we're going straight to the top with interactions with the beings. So I will be very transparent, and there they are. By the way, Sati, you're gonna have to explain the knocking. I'm gonna put us in a little bit of a, here we go. I'm gonna kind of switch back and forth as people are speaking. Sati, do you want to kind of get us going a little bit on just the high level and some of your being experiences, and I want Helen and whoever wants to share on this. Ben, I don't know if you've had experiences yourself. You haven't. So how many experiences do we have in the room? I know Helen and Marley. Okay, so I'm gonna start with you guys, and then the idea of the wheel with a group is like it's just gonna be very interactive. As you're talking, let's, if anybody has a question, usually I ask you to get a fork, but I didn't ask you today because the fork gets raised, and that's how we know that you're supposed to speak. So Sati, Marley, can you get us, kind of warm us up on, your relationship with the beings, and explain the knocking, because I want them to get that.
Yes. Okay. Well, you guys, through this show, you are going to hear some knocking coming from a very old phone that I have that has nothing on it, no apps, no service, no nothing. And they started using the knocks on my phone to get attention. So they have knocked numerous times since we started here, and they just want to be a part of the conversation. They may provide me some information to share in this platform. So we just never know what's going to happen, but they always make you very aware that they are present and they are here to confirm. And so I just love that they figured that out. And I have had many experiences with many different beings in my life. I am 57. now. And since I was a baby, I have been having experiences that I remember, but not so much bad experiences, because thankfully my father told my sister and I, when we were very young children, that we would probably be visited, we would be approached, different paranormal UFOs and ETs, and not to be afraid of them. So I listened to that. And so I never held any fear around this at all. And, you know, I'm very cautious, though, on who I'm calling in. But I have been on many different ships from many different planets and beings. I have spent a great deal of time with different beings that come and visit. I do CE5 events, so they'll show up usually then. And I have had 3 ships follow me around since I was 3 years old. So when I go to bed at night, I never close my curtains or my blinds or anything, because I like them to be able to pay attention to what's going on. And it kind of gives them open access to come and just hang out and do whatever. I usually will open a portal up in my room before I go to bed at night and allow them to come through, making sure that there are protections in place, that only benevolent beings are coming through. But there are a few beings that are more frequent than others. I get a lot of the Pleiadians. I get a lot of the lion beings from Lyra. Sometimes the mantis beings, definitely the bird beings, and a lot of times the Blu-ray 1 beings from Sirius B. So, you know, it's pretty cool. I love it. I am so blessed and grateful to have these beings in my life, because they pulled me through my life. Them and music, part and parcel.
Yeah. So Dorothy has a question, you know, before we go too far. So who was Sati's father that he had that kind of knowledge about who was visiting? Can you share a little bit? Not too much, but just like what, you know, why was he so connected?
Well, my dad is from England, from Norwich, Norfolk, he was. And I don't know how many experiences he had, but I know he could see the paranormal, ghosts and different things like that, which I've always been able to see myself. And I know he had experiences, but the unfortunate thing is he never shared those experiences. He just let me know from a very young age not to be afraid and to embrace them, that they were part of our star family and they were significant for us. And, you know, it was pretty cool, because when I was a really young child, my dad, when he was telling me not to be afraid, that there was no need for any fear, that it was just an illusion, I totally went with it. Like, you know, so I just have not had fear in my life. But I'm really grateful that he did that. And I have just had so many experiences. And when I was really young, I told him, I think a mistake happened and I was dropped off on the wrong planet, because I did not resonate with the people here on the planet when I was a kid, because there was no one like me, you know, coming in with knowing my past lives and all of that different things. And the things I could see that when I was little, I thought everybody could see. And I found out very quickly they couldn't when I started being referred to as crazy, right? So my dad was such a gem. And I really, really appreciate that he just shared those things with me. But I really wish that I knew more. And I wish I had the courage to ask him about his experiences before he passed away in 2017. But just the fact that he made it so I wasn't afraid, and all of these things just kept coming in, you know. But you know what he did say to me when I told him I thought they made a mistake and dropped me off on the wrong planet? He said, well, where do you think you're from? And I pointed to the sky and I said, I'm from the stars. And he said, you're absolutely right. And thank you for knocking.
There they go.
Yeah. So it was just a very cool experience. I wish I could share some of his experiences, but I don't know. I just know he was really plugged in to those people, to the being.
Interesting. Yeah, does that answer your question? I think it does. I mean, right there, it's like you're plugged in, and the fact that he promoting the lack of fear is probably the best thing that could have
Yes.
happened, because that has created, you have very positive experiences. I mean, some people don't. Some people have, negative experiences, but that lack of fear has played such a big role in your life. Before I want to hear from Helen too, but there's a couple of comments I'm going to pop up from the chat, because this is an interaction show. Make sure if you have questions, put them in all upper, because I get like all ADD all over the place and I don't want to miss anybody. So I don't know what this means, but I'm going to read it. Not that one, because I know what that means. So you put your 12D Merkba shield up, Marley, when you talk to them. From Bobby McBride, he's one of our friends, our besties here in the channel. So
Yes.
Sati.
Absolutely. So I always, every morning and every night before I go to bed, I completely shield myself for protections. And I'm always very, very cautious and cognizant of who I'm calling in. So the beings I'm calling in, I always call the Lyrans in as well, so they can stand at the portal and protect me so nothing malevolent comes through. Now, I will say I have had a couple of not so great experiences, but they were beings that would not show themselves to me. And they were very interesting. So since the last one of those happened and I got very seriously hurt, I had to have my head glued back together a year ago in February because something catapulted me across my bathroom head first into the bathtub. And that was very interesting, but I wasn't feeling well at the time. So I did not have my protections and shields in place. And these malevolent beings, they seek our light. They seek our vibration. And that is what they try to feed off of. So always, I put protections in place so that I'm only taking applications for benevolent beings.
only benevolence shall apply. If you're not benevolent, don't bother.
And I'd like to say to Bobby, thank you for that, because good on you to know that. A lot of people don't. And I just thought that was really awesome. Thank you for bringing that up, Bobby. You rock.
I have a couple more, and then Helen, I'm going to get to you because I want to hear about your experiences as well. So Cindy, and this is Cindy's the second person that brought this up. Hides brought this up as well. Shadow people and shadow people that people see, she's like, she stopped sleeping in the dark. So she hasn't seen any in several years. I used to see them when I was little. I called them spider shadow people, in my during sleep paralysis. But Hides also mentioned, does anybody have shadow people, opinions? Or Helen, do you have experience with shadow people?
I often do catch shadows out of the corner of my eyes and that sort of thing. I haven't seen direct forms, as in shadow people that you can see the shape of a person. No.
Can I offer a suggestion to anybody that has dealings with shadow people? I would like to suggest, if like what Helen is saying, something out of the corner of her eye, or when Cindy has seen shadow people and doesn't want to sleep in the dark, you can take care of that simply by banishing that away. Say, no, not today. Only benevolent beings, go now or you will be recycled. And they will leave. You should not, don't be fearful. Stand in your sovereignty, take control of the situation, and don't allow anything malevolent or shadowy to create fear within you. Tell them straight out, because guess what? As a divine sovereign being, we are far more strong than what they are, because they can only operate from a lower density, right? So you tell them, you're welcome, Dorothy. You tell them out you go, because this isn't what I want. And that's when you call in your benevolent beings and your benevolent star families and your angels and guides to protect you, so that be very clear you want benevolent experiences, and then benevolent experiences will happen. It's actually as easy as that. So you just tell them get out, or you're going to kick their butt out, you know?
Exactly. So thank you so much for giving advice, because we have a lot of, like Josh. I mean, sometimes I guess so many times you see something out of the corner of your eye and it's nothing. But sometimes you see something and you feel something, like you just feel differently about that moment. And I think it's that's so hard, it's hard to touch and feel that particular interaction, like that moment. And I do want to thank you, Moon. I do want to call out happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody. And let's take a moment to make sure we remember the fallen. A lot of people lost their lives for this country. And it's really important that we salute those who lost their lives, their families, and everybody that serves, because that's bravery right there. So thank you so much, Moon. And so Helen, while I look through the chat here, you want to share a little bit about your experiences and kind of how they've been different from Sati's, and tell us a little bit about that, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think everyone who's here at the moment knows about my experience with when I was a child with the grey type beings.
Some people don't. That's why I say just share whatever you want, because we have new people in the chat. We got a mix of people in Mindforked. So whatever you feel like sharing, go for it.
Okie dokie. So when I was in my early teens, I would get small beings come in my room. Initially, my room was really dark. I needed a dark room to sleep well, and I'd be woken up with them sat on me. They'd be sat on my stomach, or once I remember sat on my chest and I couldn't breathe. So not knowing what they were, not being able to really see them, I'd push them off. I'd panic. Something was in my room that shouldn't be in my room. I'd panic and scream and run into my parents' room, even though I was probably too old to be doing that. But you do. You don't know what it is, and yeah. This happened a few times, and my mum suggested that I leave the curtains open. She felt, to be honest, I think they thought it was nightmares or some sort of sleep paralysis or something like that. But she told me, leave the curtains open and you'll be able to see, and perhaps you won't be so scared. The room was at the back of the house. There were street lights at the front of the house, so it didn't make the room bright, but it meant I could see a bit. And I'd had the beings come again a couple of times, but I could see they were small, big head. I pushed them off. I'd pushed one of their heads once, which it felt like a watermelon. That sort of squeaky, almost leathery watermelon skin. But I didn't really hang around to look. And then one morning, very, very early morning in the summer, it was absolute bright sunshine. I woke up to a being that seemed different. It was still a grey type, but it was either a different race or a different age. The ones that came in twos always seemed very young, very mischievous and curious, and they never did anything bad, but they would sort of poke and prod and like they were investigating or teasing or something. Whereas this seemed really, really old. I don't think the head seemed as big in comparison to the body either, and it may have been a little bit taller. But it was sat. I had a tiny, tiny room, and just past the end of my bed, I had a chest of drawers, and this was sat perched on this chest of drawers, which was slightly to the left of the bottom of my bed. And as I woke up, opened my eyes. I knew I was being watched, so I sat bolt upright, and all this within a split second. Saw this thing looking at me, absolutely screamed, full lung, full volume scream at the top of my voice. And the being came towards me, which probably caused more fear than anything really. But what it was doing, it was actually heading for the window, which was at the right-hand side of the bottom of the bed. It overlapped the bottom of the bed a little. And I had those old wooden frame windows with the 4 quarters, the sash windows where you could lift the bottom and drop the top. And as this being went through the window, it was sort of dispersing, breaking down as it was going. And it went out the window, but as it went, it took the pane of glass, a quarter of a window pane of glass, out with it. And that glass then dropped and smashed on the concrete, which was the drive for the car at the side of the house. But I was gone again. I'd run out of the room, run into my parents. But one very, very strong memory, my parents had always been very much, oh, it's fine. It's one of those things. It happens. Like I say, I think they thought it was a dream. But it's probably better you don't talk to people about it. People won't understand. And the next day, my dad, who was a very, very practical man and used to fix everything and build things and do stuff like that, he was picking up the glass and getting ready to put new glass in the window and sort it out. And Mum had gone outside. I don't think they realised I was upstairs. And of course, with the broken window, I could hear them really clearly. And he turned around to my mum and said, she's absolutely right, you know, that window didn't smash from the outside. Something pushed that pane of glass out of that window in one piece, and it has smashed down here. There's not one splinter of glass anywhere around the window, around the windowsill or anything. So something has definitely happened. And that was my first confirmation that it was anything other than a dream. But yeah, there we go.
That experience kind of like changed. I mean, how has that shaped? You know, I know that this has been kind of ongoing. You know, the rest of your life, you're just dealing with this. You know, but how are things now? You know.
Do you know, it sounds really odd, but it just seemed like normal life to me. I didn't really give it an awful lot of thought. I remember that sense of almost a sense of satisfaction that my parents believe me now, when they were talking about the glass. But other than that, I never gave it much thought. I never spoke to anyone about it because my parents made it quite clear that, you know, it's not the sort of thing you want to be talking to people about. And I used to have a lot of other small things happen. So what I now realise wasn't normal, just all seemed very normal to me growing up, and into my teens, and some really way out dreams, and what I think was a cryptid. I was out on my horse in the forest, and there was a creature in amongst the trees. There were very thick trees along the side of the path I was on, and then it opened out a little bit through the trees. And there was something running through those trees next to me, more or less. And I could hear it. I could hear it going through the branches, and some branches were being broken. I could hear it breathing. I couldn't see a thing, even when there was a gap in the trees or anything like that. I couldn't see anything there, but I knew it was there. All my senses, apart from my sight, knew that there was some large being running through those trees. And I sort of sped up on the horse, even though it wasn't really a path you'd go fast on. And it dropped slightly behind, but it more or less kept up. And you know, I never spoke to anyone about it. I think you just know that generally, especially in the past, and people seem more open-minded now,
Mhm.
But that many years ago, I'm late 50s now, and we're talking now in my teens. You never heard anyone speak about these things. It just would have been so unusual. People would have just thought you were crazy. So I never talked to people. I didn't give it a lot of thought. I just carried on with things. My parents did very much, because for me, it's hence I used to be Helen Crystal Energy. Is I sort of feel
Mhm.
energies. I can feel more than anything else. And my parents were very, very short of money. And along what they did to try and improve life was they used to buy very, very rundown houses, and Dad would do them up whilst we lived in them, and then we'd sell them and then buy another one and gradually sort of increase what they had, sort of thing. And they learnt to get, when they viewed it, if they liked it, they would then insist that they took me back to see the place and feel what the energy of the place was. Because if I felt it was good, it was a good place to buy. If I felt it was bad, they knew they needed to stay away.
So you
You
were
know.
being like a censor.
Yeah, more or less.
Huh?
Bit of a what do they call it on the radio? A antenna. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like an antenna. You're like one of my
Yeah.
EMF readers that you take around to feel the energy, you
Yeah,
know?
that's it.
There you go. All you have
Absolutely.
to do is take Helen all over the country and have her
Yeah.
test the waters.
Yeah.
So
Oh dear.
I'm not making fun of it or anything. I'm just saying
No, of
it's
course.
amazing. But I do want to understand, because this is interesting to me, that the repeatability. It seems like once something happens, something is unlocked. And I think like it's around us all the time. And for those of us that are not,
Definitely.
that still have the veil, we can't see it. And it's so fascinating when I find the people that can. I mean, like Marley completely embraces it. Helen, I mean, you've lived with this forever. So I'm just.
Do you know, I wonder, and I've got a lot of theories in my head, and I've no evidence or anything else for them, but just things that come up in my head that I think might fit my situation. But
Mhm.
when I was a baby, my mum actually had a very, very difficult life, which I won't bore everyone with, but from about 10 months old, we didn't have a home and various things, and I'd get pushed from pillar to post. I'd spend a lot of time as a baby strapped in a pushchair out the back of various kitchens whilst Mum was waitressing to earn money to keep us. And I definitely didn't have a normal early childhood. But apparently they couldn't make me cry. I would laugh at everything. I was friends with everyone. I'd smile at everyone. People would talk to me and I'd just laugh at them. Horrible things would happen. People would shout. I'd laugh. At one point, a then friend who actually ended up eventually being my stepdad, but anyway,
Oh, that's
he
a trip. That's a story for a different show. But yeah, that's a trip right
totally.
there.
He got very worried about me when I was getting older as a baby, but still pre-speaking. He was worried there was something wrong with me and that I couldn't cry. And he bought, I don't know, do you call them spring onions in the States? The little pencil thin onions that you have in salads.
Oh, like the green. I call them green. The green onions. Yeah, we call them
Yeah,
green
yeah,
onions.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, he gave me one of those because I used to eat anything they gave to me. So he gave me one of those thinking I'd react to the onion and cry. And apparently I took a big bite out of this onion, pulled a face that made everyone laugh, and then I just absolutely cracked up laughing. Even an onion couldn't make me cry. I wonder
That's
if
amazing. Go
I
ahead.
know, but I wonder if I was just such a high vibrational child that attracted things. Maybe I don't know, but it's a thought.
That I'm so glad you used that term, and I know we we're still on the same topic, but this is so fascinating. It's one of our favorite topics, obviously. Hold on, I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Is somebody backstage? Oh, Benny's back. Oh my God, Benny. And guess what? Dorothy Hawkins. Hi, Dorothy. I know you have.
Yay, Dorothy.
So glad you're here because I'm going to pivot on this one for a second and down a different route on the same thing. But how you doing, Dorothy?
Hey, I'm feeling better day by day. Really glad you're having this panel.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad all of you guys are here. And Betty, I feel like every time we get to you, you freeze and we lose you. So, but I want to place a question for you guys. So, because Helen mentioned vibrations, like frequencies, like, it's the power, Tesla always talked about if we figure out the power, the importance of the significance of 369, it's like the power of 3. There's something in the power of 3. And I was watching a video the other day talking about the power of 3 being, is it really just a matter of energy, vibration, and frequency? And that somehow the combination of those things, is it possible that some people are just at a different frequency, like Helen and Marley, than us, that I and Dorothy, I'm not going to speak for you because you have your own, I want to make sure you share your experiences, but is it a matter of that? Is it frequency vibration? What do you guys think? Oh, the spirits think, the guides think I'm right, but go ahead.
Well, I muted myself and then I thought, oh no, when Helen was speaking, they kept knocking. And when she said about the vibration, they knocked like knock, 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 knock. But
Wow.
Yes. So, and Helen, you are very high vibrational because you're an angel, and here you're an earth angel, but you are an angel, and angels hold extremely high vibrations. So what you said was bang on, and they really loved it. They got so excited they knocked 6 or 9 times in a row instead of 3. So way to go, Helen.
Brilliant.
I've been on the phone with you. I hear them in 3s, but then they go away and they'll like come back. But obviously they love Helen, and who wouldn't? So Dorothy, do you have any experiences to share? What would you like to share on that before we go spin the wheel again? Because we have a lot of topics that we're going to hit on.
Oh, well, in terms of beings and interactions with beings like Helen, I didn't have an easy upbringing in some ways. And we had a lot of chaos going on interpersonally in the family. And because I was the youngest, nobody would ever explain anything to me or whatever. But I feel like I've been in communion with higher beings the whole time because for some unknown reason, I was able to speak wisdom to warring parties in my family and make peace all the time. See, and it was like, okay, how could a kid this much younger have that kind of wisdom? I didn't have it. It was wisdom speaking through me to them. So at one point, I believe in this very, very poignant dream that I remember from being a little kid of taking a ride with them in space. They asked me if I could help them, and I said yes. And they said, well, it's not going to be easy. I said, that doesn't matter. If you need my help, I'll help. And so I think that's how I was enlisted to help, was to be able to allow that wisdom to speak through me to my family members and make peace and settle things a lot as a child. That's my understanding of communication or being with the beings. Okay.
Marley, did you want to respond to that? I saw you kind of like.
I'm trying to put my hand up. Yes, actually. And the other thing too, Dorothy, is that it's actually also wisdom from past lives as well. So when we reach specific points in our lives, then we carry that wisdom, that ancient wisdom and knowledge with us in every lifetime going forward. So a lot of that also is that. But I also would like to make you aware that there are many of us here on the planet right now that are here to be a liaison for the divine realms, for the benevolent star families, to pass on this information for humanity and to assist them in the most grandiose event that's ever taken place in the history of humanity as a whole, for this great awakening that's taking place. So we are liaisons for that as well. And I wanted to let you know, Dorothy, that those also are part and parcel of who you actually are and what part of your mission is here on the planet. Thank you.
We all love Dorothy and Helen are beloved in this community. We all love them. So I'm so Dorothy, I just love that you're here. And Helen and Bobby says, Marley, I'm a student of the Emerald Order from the Founders. So just I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to show Marley that. So should we, first of all, I'm going to say hello to intergalactic anglers in the house. Thank you. Gotcha. I'm so glad you're here. And Ben and Will, are you guys ready to spin the wheel for our next topic? Anything else on experiences before? Because we got a couple cool topics on the wheel. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready for this? Da, 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 da. Hold on. Let me find the wheel. Here we go. Ready? Can people actually hear the music from the wheel when I play it?
Yes.
Chat? Okay, but
Yeah.
can the chat hear it? Okay, cool. There we go. We are going to, hold on a second, remove that. We are going to serve the ley lines. And what does that mean? First of all, ley lines. Maybe just read up on this a little bit. So I do have, that goes back to this guy right here. And his name is Alfred Watkins in the ley lines. Commercial traveler proposed a theory of ancient route makers in his 1922 lecture. This is the official on ley lines from, more mainstream. But these alignments, which are called leys, developed over time after starting with simple piles of stones, walkers. So it's basically like tying all the different places together. And one of the first places that it talks about on ley lines is the first place that we're going to go to today. So hold on. The first place we're going to go to today on our ley line tour. Hold on, please. I have so much media and I wasn't ready. And here we go. So we go there. Should we go here? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go. We're going to go here. All right, our first stop is Stonehenge. And I picked Stonehenge first because, can you guys hear me okay? I picked Stonehenge first because we got a couple of people from the UK. Marley has some thoughts on Stonehenge. There's no denying that there are power places on Earth and that their origins are, this is the way I think about it before I open it up to people that probably know more about this than I do. But just because you find a house, right? A house is abandoned. That has nothing in it. You don't know how old the house is. Just because you moved in doesn't mean that the house started on the day you moved in. And this is how I feel about a lot of these places on Earth that seem to fit a narrative of being connected, and like being hubs to use Earth's power to connect us to something bigger. They knew something we don't know. Stonehenge is a good example. I'm going to open it up. Start raising hands if anybody wants to talk about the power of Stonehenge, because you can feel it. I mean, who wants to go first? Stonehenge. Let's go with Marley, and then we're going to go. Whoa. Ben hasn't said anything. Let's go with Benny.
Yes.
Benny.
Yeah.
Benny in the dark. He's in
Stonehenge.
the dark.
Stonehenge. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Stonehenge is in Wiltshire, which is the hotspot for crop circles, and they're seen regularly on the surrounding area of Stonehenge as well.
Have you been there?
I've not been there. I'm
haven't?
north mainly.
You see, I don't know how far things are. You have. Helen has. Helen.
I have, and it's a great place. I have to admit, though, I much prefer the lesser known Avebury.
I've heard of that.
The lesser known. Say that again.
Avebury. It's not as well known, but it's a much better place to visit.
Tell us why. Tell us about that.
I personally, I went to Stonehenge years ago, when you could still go up to the stones and what have you. And although they look impressive, I never felt anything there. Now you can't get anywhere near the stones. I suspect, and I bet Sati will let us know, I suspect there's been interference with Stonehenge.
That's an interesting.
And yeah, Avebury is, you can walk in amongst all the stones. It's a bigger area. It's more complex. I think, I don't know the actual history, but it feels to me like it's an older place. But you feel the place as well. So yeah.
Dorothy put Avebury. Thank you, Dorothy. I've been trying to spell this out then.
Avebury. There's an E. A-V-E. Bury.
A-V-E. Avebury.
Yeah.
There's E and S between the V and the B.
Okay. Avebury. So, but Marley, you had a little bit different experience, because there it is. Hold on. There we go, Dorothy. Avebury. Thank you, Dorothy. Obviously, I can't type right now. Yeah. So, Marley, what about your experience at Stonehenge? I mean, when you talk to people, some people say they feel the energy, and maybe things happen, like, respond to what Helen's saying, because that's an interesting perspective. Are they getting in the way? So,
well, for me personally, my uncle, who worked for Special Forces in the UK, SBS, so he took me to Stonehenge, and one of his friends that he was in the SBS with was working there that day. So we actually got to spend alone time at Stonehenge, and they let me cross the barrier. This was in 2001. So I actually sat in a meditative pose in the lotus position, where the actual center of the stones would be. And my hair was going up, like my hair was standing up from energy. The hair on my arms and everything were just going up with the frequency. But here's what I noticed, and maybe this will make sense with you, Helen, is that we stayed there for hours, because I was trying to figure out, thank you for knocking, why they put and place these stones specific ways. So they provided me a whole vision of what it actually looked like prior to. And the inner ring was a ceremonial place where weddings took place and special big meetings and things like that for that community at the time. And what was happening is that it was in direct alignment at the time for it to hit at a specific time of day for the sun to come through, and then a specific time of day for the moon to come through. And when these things took place, the moon and the sun, that's when you could really feel the energies. That's when my hair was standing on end. They were providing me all of these incredible visions of, you know, what it took and what the whole thing, every circle was purposefully done for protection, right? It was kind of like a maze at first. But then when it wasn't in those high energy times, like Helen said, I didn't feel a whole lot, and the visions would dissipate. And then another energy would come, and then poosh, and it would just provide me with so much clarity about Stonehenge. I have never heard of what is it, Avebury? Or I've never heard of that, but I'm definitely going to look into that. But I do agree with Helen in that many of these places, especially in the last 10, 20 years, they've really messed with a lot of those energies. And I think it's because humanity has been waking up to this stuff, and they didn't want them to figure out how these things were built and what actually was really taking place. So I really do agree with Helen when you say, Helen, that things like that have been messed with. But these are massive portal sites on the planet, right? And Stonehenge is one of them, where energy was just shooting down into my crown at the specific right times, and then in the crack of the rocks coming straight for my heart chakra. Thank you for not straight for my heart chakra. And it was absolutely incredible. And we have to be very cognizant of the portals on the planet. They are a real thing. And I think we're going to talk about more of that. It's going to be more than just Stonehenge. So that's
I was going to say, somebody said about it being, I think, Hero, we're talking about maybe it's a portal, like a Stargate.
Absolutely. There you go. Thank you, Hero. Whoop, whoop.
Hero. We need a hero. And then we got Oliviero in Malta, where I've been. There have been several similar megalithic sites. Exactly. So one of the things that I want to do is just start covering all these different sites every time we have any of these shows to get a highlight. And I'd love to include some of the less known, you know, some of the newer discoveries as well. But Stonehenge is such a, it's so known. It makes it so obvious. Yes, Helen, go for it.
It's iconic. Just quickly, I'll add the St. Michael's ley line that does cut through Yorkshire. I'm thinking of Ben, Wiltshire in the UK. Literally goes from one side of the country to the other. It's about 330 miles across land. But apparently they think it carries on under the sea and goes right across Russia too.
Helen, isn't there a ley line that goes up North Yorkshire as well?
There's ley lines all over, but that is just one particularly strong one that cuts across the south of the UK, which makes you wonder again with the crop circles and everything else. Yeah.
I know, and I think we're going to break the rules of the wheel here in a minute and talk about crop circles, but not before we recognize the man with the fork. Carnundrum is racing his fork. I got my fork. Look, I have a fork too that, you know, I usually tell people to bring the fork to race it. Car, what do you have to say?
I just want to know if there's a correlation between minerals within the earth to these fault lines. Because a lot of it, I resonate towards that. Like they're putting crystals, or if they're doing their own rocks or stones, or they're finding certain stones, they're looking for that crystal, right? And so my question would be, has anybody really looked into that? And I know it's hard to, because you have to do core samples in the existing stone. You don't want to damage the stone, but there has to be some kind of evidence, right? Like.
You are right. There is a particular type of stone under Stonehenge, as far as I'm aware. I'm not sure what it is, but I know there is one.
Quite
a lot.
They moved. Sorry, Ben.
No problem.
I know they move stones for miles to these places, and there must be some particular value in that stone for them to bother moving it those great distances to those ley lines to make those buildings, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I know the pyramids have certain crystals within those stones, and that's why they have the running water underneath them to resonate differently, because when water is underneath crystal, when it comes through, it's different and it's good for you, but it's not good to live underneath running water without any crystals underneath you. That's what I've been told anyway. So yeah, so it just makes sense to me, and I've never visited these spots. I want to so bad, so it's maybe something that I have to put on a list somewhere and just make sure I do it sometime, right? It's like this animal thing I'm on. So, but yeah, you know what I mean? So just something that we have to do, right? And I think everybody should try it, just to see, how it resonates with
Just
you.
to feel it. I mean, because if you're
Right?
there, you're going to feel something. I have a feeling it's like, oh my God.
Different. Yeah.
Like if I go to Göbekli Tepe, my head might explode. But that's a totally different story because I'm obsessed with the tepes. But think about like going to a place like this and feeling like, I mean, my sister does Reiki and she touched without thinking about it, she's like, touch my hand, but don't touch it, just get close. Man, I felt it. It was like, what the? I freaked out. I was at a restaurant. It's like, what the hell is this energy? And I've heard, that at Stonehenge in particular, all of these places, it's like, I wonder if you just pick up something, depending on who you are and how you're connected to the people that made it. Because it's so fascinating to think that they're not necessarily the same people. It might be like multiple generations and cycles of what's happened here that we're seeing, and not one particular one. Ben, did you have something else before? Because I want to talk about crop circles.
Okay.
Marley, whoever.
I would just like to share, they knocked at you, Chris, when you just said that. But I want, if we're going to be moving on, I just want to say something about different pyramids on the planet. There are, the pyramids in Egypt, obviously everybody knows about, but Mount Kailash, Mount Shasta in California, Antarctica, and there's many pyramids actually that are underwater now. They are all energy portals. Every single one of them are being used as energy portals, and none of them were built by humans. None. Humans couldn't build that stuff. They can't. Like they number one, they didn't have the equipment, and number two, there is just no way that they could be so precise without the tools. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share that because it's a really big one. I mean, there's a lot of beings already, like star families on this planet, that are living in some of these pyramids that are in mountains. And if you think about how many times people see UFOs coming from the sky and going straight into the ocean, that's because they're living under there too. So I just wanted to make that, bring that up because it's a huge thing. And there are so many energy portals all over this planet, and they are all linked to the ley lines. And there is something about that. Like, people should really pay attention to that stuff. So I just wanted to add that, Chris.
Oh, we're going to hit on pyramids again if we, loop around to the next, because we've got, in surfing the ley lines, I want to say hi to someone real quick, but I also had Teotihuacan, Tiahuanaco, and of course Giza. So it's like those four places to me is just like, they're so different, yet they're so similar in purpose. But I want to say hello to Goga, my friend here. I'm going to be on Yoga with Goga tomorrow. This guy right here, Goga. Check out his channel, Yoga with Goga. It is awesome. He's all into wellness. My God, the things he does with yoga, like, I would break. I would make a mess of myself. He can do all these poses. I'm like, I don't have that flexibility. But we're actually celebrating the end of Mental Health Awareness Month. And he invited me because channel called Mindforked. Let's talk mental health, because that makes sense. But no, I love Goga. I've known Goga for a while. he's just lovely community builder and such great energy. Love you, my friend, and cannot wait till tomorrow. So I'll be putting that link later because you guys we're gonna want to check that out. So, but yes, we're gonna be talking other pyramids as well. If we let's see where we go with the wheel, because I do want to, instead of doing that right now, because we talked about Stonehenge. Let's talk about crop circles. Let's
Chris, just
get
very,
into
very,
yes,
Chris,
ma'am.
very quickly, whilst we're just still on ley lines, did you know
Yes.
that Tesla's laboratory was on a very important ley line?
One of the ones that got destroyed, probably. Right? It
I
was
don't
his
know a lot
main
about
lab.
it.
And
Yeah, but
most of his labs got destroyed by freak accidents. I'm like,
yeah.
Bum,
I
bum,
don't buy it.
bum.
I'm sorry, but Tesla knew his stuff, don't you think, Helen?
Absolutely.
know
I
that it
think
was-
he knew a lot about stuff that we haven't heard about that he knew, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And it's like I'm going to divert a little bit only because this is relevant. You know, you there's all these scientists that always say that the experiments, like the programs, go to a certain level, and once they're proven, they get canceled and they go deeper. You know, they get hidden, and for some reason, I think, you know, again, that's a lot of theories have about this, that Tesla's technology is being used today. It just got taken away from Tesla and gone into a darker place, whether that's, you know, direct energy weapons or anti-gravity. Yes, Helen.
The depths of the secret places.
Oh my God. That was good timing. Okay, so that's a great, so the guys say yay, and let's go ahead and let's talk about crop circles, since we were talking about Stonehenge. And crop circles get a bad rap because, just like UFOs, we have done that to crop circles, because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, this is a UFO. No, it's not. Crop circles, yeah, people, you know, did they come up with the idea of doing these all on their own, or they just copied? Because I don't think anybody goes there. It's like, I think I'm going to sit there and I'm going to just start planking away on a field and make, you know, this started a long, long time ago. So what are your thoughts? I'm going to kind of go through the panel on your thoughts on crop circles. And I have some pictures of all kinds. I have the pictures you sent me, Helen, that I didn't know if you wanted me to kind of pull them up and we can talk about it, or one by one. Benny, we haven't heard much from Benny. Crop circles, buddy. In or out?
No,
what are your thoughts?
Just because I think, what is it? Two men, Doug and Dave, came out in 8 years ago saying that they made crop circles. They just presumed they all were fake. But when you walk into a crop circle, you can tell the fake ones to the real ones. They're just too perfect. The crop isn't broken, it will regrow. And you also get the ghost circles the year after. Well, for so many years, for the real ones, the circle can be still seen in the crops year after. That can't be replicated by two boards. And two boards and men will break the crop. It's not all of them. It's 95% are fake. I've been in a few.
Oh yeah.
And I'd say one or two out of like 10 probably could be real. But you do get
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
You walk in and you just get, it's just energy, a feel of energy. All your hair stands on end. You're walking in, and that's you can tell. I know there is in the UK we have something, a rapeseed crop. It's a yellow flower. It's so delicate. You walk through it, you're covered in yellow when you come out, and it damages. Crop circles have been made in this, and the flowers are still intact. If that was human, that wouldn't be like that.
They get interwoven at stalk, right? Yep. It's like they get interwoven at stalk, but the flowers don't get crushed.
Yep, that's right.
Is that what in the ones? So you went to one? Is that kind of how it was then?
corn ones I've been to, not the yellow seeded, not the yellow crop, and they're not just in Wiltshire though. The ones I've been in Yorkshire, so we get them around here. Not as common as down south, but we do. They're all over the UK.
Have you guys heard of? Has anybody done the EMF test for radiation? I mean, when you look at Linda Moulton Howe, you know, her background on mutilations and on crop circles and her research was pretty strong. And they always said that they could sense that there was, you know, in some they could sense whether it's high electromagnetic frequency or, you know, something that could be detected with a EMF reader. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Just throwing it out there.
There is evidence to say it does happen. There is EMF readings. Yeah, that is true. And then I think a doctor has been in with one as well. A doctor and a patient without heart condition, and they monitored the heart, and that came with irregularities. There's been a few things.
Interesting. I'm having a hard time. You might want to get closer to your mic. I don't know what mic you're using, Ben, because you were getting cut off a little bit, and it was a really good story, and I did not want to miss that. Carr has his fork up. Go ahead, Carr. You're muted. Carr,
there we go.
There we go.
Okay. So you're saying what are the thoughts and stuff? I think it's a stamp. I think the aliens or these species are stamping us and our planet, and why they target the crops or things of higher so you can see it. So if anything grows, it will grow back. But it's a certain wave, right? So it's hitting the earth. They stamp it. They know, and that's who's visiting us. So if you determine the number of different crop circles based on the species and/or alien coming in, you might have a correlation between the two, because I strongly feel that's what they're doing, right? It's like they're we've done it in space. We did with a satellite, did we not? And we added like the male and the female, and then what planet we're on. Well, they're stamping it so they know where we're at. That's how they stamp us. That's how they keep records, right? Makes sense to me. That's what I would do. Just throw a stamp on it, eh? And then because it's surfing. Well, it's surfing around and on space, and how do you keep track of that? Especially if you only travel every, say, 500 years, you're only visiting this planet. So it's like, it's going to be somewhere in space, right? It's not the same spot because it's moving out. So, yeah, they stamp it. That's what they can read it from a very far distance. So it's obviously a frequency that we don't know of, because people walk in it, and I'm like, I don't know, but walking in it, right? Because it's like, you don't know what's, there is fake ones, and but the ones that are burnt, that like the elbows and stuff, that's I've seen a couple of them, right? I've seen a couple of them, Linda Moulton Howe and stuff like that, and her stuff, and like the readings, that's what you want. And we were picking up on those certain readings, but that's probably the aftermath. God knows what it was, when it was coming through. If anything was in the way, it was probably dead. Were the insects around? Were there, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I would check that stuff big time, right? Just to see, because it doesn't grow. It doesn't grow in the spot. Apparently, it kills it, so that it'll always come back, regardless of what vegetation's growing around it. So I don't know. Just a thought.
This is why we're here. We're going to hypothesize, Marley, before we go to you. Dorothy, do you have any thought on crop circles? Because Marley has some thoughts that I want to touch on also.
Well, I think Will might be onto something about it being sort of a stamp onto the land, indicating for them, what is this place, or what is our mission here, or, it'll cue them in to where they're supposed to go for what their missions are right now. What does it mean for us? I'm uncertain, but the anomalies in the way that they're done, the real ones where, like Will's talking about, the stalks being bent right at the knob and there's melting involved and like that. It's like, well, what? They just hover their ship over a spot, put up a little template on the bottom of their ship, and shoot the laser through so the print comes out. And, you know, there you go. You got yourself a crop circle in 10 seconds or less. Boom. There you go.
Boom. Bingo. Marley, and then I also have and Ben. Hold on. So we also Helen after. So we're gonna go to Marley and Ben, and then Helen. I have all these pictures, and I didn't know if you wanted me to kind of walk through because we got a ton of crop circle pictures, and we got to talk about this one. So I'm gonna save that for a minute. Any thoughts before we go to those, Ben?
Just one thing, the crop isn't broken, it does regrow after as well. It does straighten back up. The crop will grow back straight after a few days.
Oh, wait, so they do grow back?
Yeah, they grow back. If you leave them, they will grow back after so long.
But are you talking on the manually done or the fake or the real?
No, the real ones. The real ones will regrow because the stalk isn't broken.
Interesting.
Start growing again. And don't you get more food or nutrition from the ones that have been in the crop circle as well? I've heard that.
What did you say?
You get more food and nutrition from the ones in the crop circle.
Oh, so it actually doesn't change the composition of the plant?
It makes it more nutritious, nutrients in it.
And the seeds produce much better. The seeds taken from the plants produce better for future years.
Yeah, I doubt that happens when you just plank it manually overnight with a team of people, and they're not even truly symmetrical, a lot of those. And it's like, you can tell the difference.
Well, could the nature of the improvements that they're helping us to gain through the crop circles and the planting of plants that we find are higher nutrition, could it be the same way that it was in the past where they brought us all kinds of cool things like astronomy and mathematics and scientific principles and all that kind of stuff? They're giving us ideas about how to improve our own agriculture even now.
I think so.
Which brings me to this, I'm going to go ahead and pop this guy up because, this is definitely one that everybody can relate to. Back to the Carl Sagan message sent from Arecibo's observatory in Puerto Rico, one that I used to go to every weekend when I was a kid. And then the one received, supposedly back, confirmation reply. I'm not sure. I haven't done enough research on this one a lot of people usually debunk it, but that one just seems so very specific and so perfect in its formation. Carr, we'll go to Carr, and then we're going to go to Marley. Go ahead, Carr.
I just want to say that the image that we see with the alien on the right was more like ours, what we sent out through the satellite. So I think the species on the right or whatever is the same. The one on the right showing exactly where they're located and what they look like. That's how we kind of did it, right? So I know the
it has the response.
Right? So it's very similar to what we sent out in space, if you guys can remember. But it's something similar.
We didn't get the reply straight away, though, was it? It was a few years or a year or so afterwards. And
it was a golden plate.
UK.
Yeah, it was a golden plate that they sent up with a satellite just to send it out, and that was it. And that's it.
It had our DNA make. It had our solar system. It was basically an invitation. Hey, come on over. It's us. We're made of this. Easily destroyed, by the way. But I'm like, I would not have put that card out there so willingly. But Marley, and then I want to hear. Yeah, they did, and I think we got a reply. The question is it real? Marley, what are your thoughts on these?
Well, my thoughts are a mix between everybody. So I feel that different star families or nations have their own specific branding. It's like a branding, right? Sometimes they put branding on a cow or something like that, right? So if you think about branding, and then you have to think about there are so many crystals under the earth that are specifically placed. They use these crystals under the ground with the energy from the ship. So it's like the crystal placements underneath the earth, the energy from the star family ship creates a laser-like pattern to make the crop circle specific to each different star family being. And yes, Ben is absolutely correct. I believe that many of them are very fake, but there are many that they are so massive so that different star families can see when they're traveling, because they use it to like gas up their vehicle. So they come to these spots. The crop circles are specifically there, what they are creating, because that's what they need to charge their ships to move forward. You can see it from so far away that they know exactly where they have to go. They will land there with the crystal placements, the ships are charged, and then they go off again. And that is what so many different star families have talked to me about, and how specific the crystal placement is under the Earth's surface for them to be able to do that. So that, for me, different ships, different crop circles for different star families, and they can identify what each individual ship needs from so far out of this atmosphere that they know right away. It's like they have like massive X-ray vision. So it's like, oh, okay, well, we need to charge up, like gassing up your car. And it's like the gas stations for the cosmos, right? So that's what they've all shared with me for many years now. And I love what everybody said, because there was a lot in all of that that is very similar to actually what is really going on. So it's pretty incredible. Very smart beings we're dealing with here.
Very interesting. I have a spin. So that's a great thought in crop circles. How does this apply to places like the Nazca mines, right? The big drawings in the middle of nowhere, done on stone that will remain, because the carvings are done on particular type of stone that just remains there forever and ever. Are they messages? Is that part of the branding? Because I'm hearing powering up, which is, I mean, that makes sense. We should be able to actually correlate or cross-check for the minerals underneath the earth of those real, of the ones that are real crop circles. You know, are people doing that study underground to see if there's something that attracts, you know, what did they feed off of? Because it's, I mean, it's in pastures, right? We don't know what's underneath. Has anybody done that research? Anybody knows on this panel?
No.
Because I think that would be a fascinating, we go in there and we look at the stock, we look at the destruction, we look at the symmetry, we look at how quickly it came up, any other evidence, but we don't look at what's underneath.
I
To
think
see
they've
if some-
looked at soil composition and the effect it has on soil, but that they've never looked any deeper to see if there's something in the rock or further down.
Like LiDAR, right? That would be cool.
Absolutely.
I need to figure out how to make enough money to fund stuff like this, because this would be really good to invest some money in. Like taking some of those things that you take for granted. If we have narrowed down certain crop circles to be deemed as more real based on, you know, things like what Ben says, etc., can't we verify what's under the ground? Just saying. Anything else on crop circles? We got some, I mean, by the way, I never did tell you guys how long we were going to go. We're just going to go for a little while, if that's okay, unless somebody, when people have to drop off, just let me know, because this is a nice little Saturday. We're having a good time. So anything else on crop circles? Let me come up with, Helen, you send me lots of pictures, and maybe I should show some of those. So
can you find the one that's the pattern inside the circle, the first one I put on the mess? That's it.
That one. Tell us about that.
I put that there because, I mean, it's an old photo, so unfortunately not the clearest. But if you can see the patterns and the way the corn is woven, well, wheat. We call it corn. It's not corn, it's wheat. But they're woven, they're literally like someone's taken them and braided them. And what you have to remember is this is dry, brittle corn late in the summer. The stalks are dry. If you bend them, they shatter, they break.
Ellen, to me, that looks like barley, which is a slightly weaker plant as well.
It may. I was told it was wheat, but it could be barley. You know, Ben, we call it all corn here.
Yeah.
But that is one central circle in amongst a crop circle that had 68 central circles. And every single one was that intricate.
Well.
And every single one was different. It had a different pattern woven into it. Now, without making the rest of what was a huge crop circle, imagine the time, effort, and work that would have to go into making 68 separate central circles like that. And braiding all those stalks like that.
Don't they say it happens overnight and that, and not the fake ones?
Yeah.
There's no way you could do that in a night, especially in the UK in the summer.
Especially with boards and ropes.
No, that is a very, I mean, you got circle within circle, and then you have the little circles that are surrounding the big circle, and it's all very, I mean, it does look like they're all woven together. It's like crocheting.
It's like somebody's taken hair and braided it into.
Yeah.
You know, with the Afro styles, and they do those tight braids and patterns on someone's hair. It's like that. It takes time.
Exactly. So Carr was racing his fork over there. I love that he has a plastic fork. That's so awesome.
It's plastic to be safe, eh? So I was thinking, right? So I was thinking that design. It looks to me, it almost looks like a power source with the central circle having the copper wire, and the outers are the magnets that circle the copper. Right? It looks like a design, right? And that's the first thing, and it looks like they're all spinning the same way. It's all going clockwise. The circles, spinning, everything. Right? So the middle part would be your energy, and then your magnets are on the outside, and they're just spinning like crazy. Right? And so when it probably burnt, it's probably when it was hovering, when it wasn't using the power or whatever, right? And when it spins up, it creates power, then it moves. So just a thought.
I know it is wild. Hold on, we got several. Let me catch up with Chad here real quick, because Chad has questions. So let's see. Somebody had a question about. Moon looks exactly like a somatic frequency pattern. I don't know what this is. Marley, do you guys panel? Anyone somatic?
It's really interesting. To me, it's some kind of patterning, absolutely. And I'm thinking maybe something to do with the geometric patterning, but it is very cool. I've not ever seen a crop circle like that. And there's no way that's a fake one, because there's no way that would take them forever to do that if it was man-made. So, it's really beautiful. I love that picture. Thank you, Helen, for supplying that pic.
I know. She gave me so many. Hello to a couple of new people. Ricky's Radio is in the house. I'm going to show some of the others because they were really cool. I just want to make sure I don't miss something. Hold on. In chat, did anyone ever heard of any Ashwana Dean's books and material? No, but I'm going to have to. What is that all about, Bobby? Bobby McBee. Bobby B. Tell us what that's about, Bobby. So let's see. Of course, Fap's like, I think it's just Bigfoot. That would be Bigfoot if he had a really fancy heel. It's like those big clog shoes, buddy.
He was doing the twist.
It was doing the twist. So hold on, let me see. I'm gonna make sure I don't miss anything. So you send me, let me look. And you also sent me some pictures, Manny. Or you didn't send it, you put them in the Discord. So I didn't know these
they're the
guys.
They're the ghost circles.
So tell us about these.
They're just ones I
These.
got off Google, but they're the ones from the year after. So the crop was there and was cut. That's from the year after.
That is really creepy looking. That actually has a.
There's
This one's
the year
cool.
afterward. They're the year after the crop circle was seen. So it's not.
You see, look at the intricacy of these things. Even this is a year later.
Yeah.
Look at
What they would have done is they would have cut the crop, ploughed it, and
Mhm.
reseeded it, and that's where the crop is restarting to grow the year after, and that's the ghost circle. So they're
that's
seen for a few years
interesting.
afterwards.
Very interesting. So, any other thoughts on crop circles before we spin the wheel again? Where do you want to go next? Anything else on crop circles? So it could be.
Should we
just
do
to
the other
summarize.
two at another time? Because
Which ones?
the Arecibo message. And
No,
the
let's do
other,
it. This is
You want
important.
to do it now? Have we got
Yeah,
time?
let's do it. Yeah, we got time, honey. If we have to cut something else, the main thing I want to cover after this is animals because we got a car here. So, and Sati.
Okay.
So I'm going to
I've had
break the rules of the wheel.
I've had to stop reading chat because my dog's determined he has some attention. So I've had to put the my tablet down with the chat on it and make a fuss of the dog. Right, so there were two. Now, this on the screen at the moment was the second one, but the one that you showed a little earlier with the pictures.
I'm coming. This one? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This one?
There's also a picture close to the crop.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look in the distance, there's a communications. It's not a radio tower. It's communications with space anyway in the background of the picture of close up. Can you see
on
that
the on
Chris?
the formation reply or on the picture itself?
On a different picture.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. That one? No.
It's one taken down at ground level, very close to the crop. No.
That one?
No, in the field with the people there.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to start over. Hold on. Going back. Not that one.
No.
Not that one.
No.
Not this one. Oh, I got that one. Then I got this one.
The last one. That's the one.
What are the
Right, so-
chances? I have to show them all. Go
Typical.
ahead. Sorry.
So the first point with this one is once again it's when the crop is very, very dry, which makes it so much harder. When it's green and it's fresh, you can bend it and it doesn't break. When it's like this, you bend it, it just shatters into pieces, it breaks. So when they're in very, very dry crops like this, there's a much higher chance that they're genuine if it's not all broken and smashed. But this one,
That's impressive.
this is the reply, the Arecibo reply, and there's a communication tower in the background there.
I didn't realize that was the zoom in on the reply. That is so cool. I am
amazing,
loving
isn't
the car, the photo bomber behind the picture. Please do. Oh no, he went away. Who went away? Oh, because Betty, we lost Betty here. Here, now you can do this again. Go ahead, Car. But tell me about this. So, wow, this is that picture. I would have, my gosh, to see this reply would be to actually be physically there. I mean,
amazing. So then, if you go to the picture which shows the message sent and the reply.
I'm laughing at these two are cracking me up. Go ahead. Marley and Tar, the photo bombers. Go ahead. This picture.
So yeah, you get the reply there, which we sent that we're carbon-based species. The reply said silicon-based. We sent the DNA that replied a DNA with an extra strand of DNA. Obviously, the shape of the people, the beings, whatever. And there's stuff in there about where in the universe and stuff like that at the bottom to do with the solar system and stuff. So it's a genuine fitting reply. It's, you know, somebody knew what they were doing. And also then the separate formation, which is the face that looks like a human face. Then if you go through to the one where you have the face and the circle, there's another one without the writing at the side, which is a better picture of it.
Let me throw my picture. That one.
That's it.
That one. That's it. That's it.
So that came through like that. But then if you go to the one with the writing, there were several connections. So this was a year later, 8 miles away across the fields. Again, you have communication towers in the background. You have a face which it's the face of what we would probably think of as an alien, but the format of it is actually the way the old analog screen worked on televisions. You do.
You're killing me. Go ahead. Keep talking, Helen. Focus, Helen, focus.
Then we have the circle, which is a message written in binary code, which is written there on the screen.
Didn't they? Yeah, is that what? There we go. The spirits know. That is what it translated to, right? This?
That's correct. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I think there's a closer up of the circle as well, which shows you the detail. And again, in very, very dry crops. It's really hard to make dry crop do that accurately.
I can't believe they were able to pull that off. And I found it interesting. So in this picture, you can see at the bottom that little cross, like towards the bottom of the reply. That's what you're facing here, right?
Yeah.
That's the little cross, like the little formation, the 4 little bushes in the middle. Interesting. And now, as usual with everything, what is the debunking that's been sent out there on this? Because everything we have, somebody has said, how in the world could they actually fake this? Anyone? Because I know that people have said. Go ahead, Dorothy.
I just don't think they could.
Next card.
Fake something so intricate in dry crops, as Helen said, because around here we have actual corn crops, not wheat. Well, we have wheat crops too, but a lot more corn than wheat. And when those stalks are all dried out, the minute you touch them, they're falling apart. So I don't see how we humans, without incredibly advanced technology, could create something like that ourselves.
I agree. Car, you had your fork up. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Helen. You're good with
absolutely. No, I'm just agreeing with Dorothy.
I know. Okay, hold on.
Well,
Car, what you got?
Diane
I was
was
just thinking, like chemicals. Could people be using chemicals for that stuff? On contact kind of chemicals, so you're able to make that nice line in the crop. Has anybody thought about that or whatever? Using chemicals on it or something?
But you can't, I don't think chemicals will break the stalk the way that they're finding it, because it's broken and intertwined. This is Vastet, by the way.
It's not actually broken, it's bent, but not broken. That's the fascinating thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's why they grow back, because it's just slightly bent.
Yeah. They don't
this
actually.
Just gets weirder every time we look at it.
They don't stand up again growing. They something happens to the nodes, which is like the joints, like our elbows or something, in a way as if they'd perhaps been in a microwave or something. It's like they've been zapped, and it alters the angle of the stalk. And then that stalk will continue to grow at that angle. So they don't die. If they're left, they stay laying down because they've been permanently bent at the joint, but they continue to grow and produce corn or wheat seeds or whatever better than they produced before they were done. These are the genuine ones,
They're
of course,
more
because there are
fruitful.
fakes out there.
Marley, go ahead.
I would just, Diane put something interesting up
I'm
in the
going.
chat about one of them looks like elves. And I wanted to comment on a couple of those crop circles, Helen, that you brought pictures of. You can actually see a being. In two of them specifically, you literally could see the being in the picture. So that's really cool. I just wanted to comment on that because that I thought was really, really interesting.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Hold on. Sorry, I was just replying to a chat here. People are asking about Discord. No, I have a Discord, but I never opened it up to anybody. I was using it, but I'm like now. Because Discord's also a great place to show movies. Somebody was asking me if I had a Discord channel. So, crop circles, we're ready to move on to the next. We're good for the next topic? Hey, let's see.
Yeah.
I was going to spin the wheel just for funsies. I know that some stuff's going to come up that we might skip, but hell, there are no rules. We don't follow rules around here. I guess it knew we were going to cover it next. So that one's out. I forgot to take it out. It knew I was going to cover it next. Let's spin again because we already covered that one. Let's see what's left. Oh. There we go. The animal connection. So, what is this all about? For those who don't know, we have a couple of people in this panel. I mean, I think everybody can probably relate to the power of animals. The fact that my cat won't leave me alone right now. As I said, power of animals, and the animal connection, this little animal is stuck to me. So I wanted to talk about, in a world of a collective conscious where we all exist here, right? Animals are all around us. Living in the country, I've found it's just lovely. It's a lovely place to be. I'm noticing so many things I never noticed before. Living in the city, you just don't, I think that part has kind of changed me. But what are you guys' ideas? And I know that we're going to start with Car, you there?
Yeah, I'm
Car,
here.
the photo bomber. Okay, cool. Do you want to share a little bit about, sorry, if you see me, I'm not like reaching at crazy stuff. There's bugs. I'm like, oh, there, the spirits are like, yeah, knock away. Car, you have had a very particular experience as of late that Marley and I have been privy to as far as your journey is concerned. Oh, and here we go. We got Betty back. Tell us about how animals have changed your life at this point. What's going on with you and animals? And then we're going to open up to Marley.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me and animals. And a lot of people like yourself have said this is kind of what's going on. I'm on a journey. I don't know. I don't know if it's just connection, maybe my calmness, maybe my because it's not. I'm a big guy, and so it's easy to see me. But for some reason, people sometimes don't see me somewhere. They're like, "Oh wow, I didn't see you there." I'm thinking, I'm like 6'2". I'm like over 300 pounds. What do you mean you didn't see me? I mean, I'm sitting right here. Like, so I don't know if it's just me. It's hard to see me, and that's why animals are more acceptable to me. Maybe I thought about that. Like I'm almost hidden to them at the moment because it doesn't. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. It has to be the calmness, my vibration, or something that's attracting them to me or around me or something, right? So, yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit.
Yeah.
I wanna say hi to Tuber Chat's in the house. Kevin from Tuber Chat. That's where I've met so many people that are in this chat. I actually met them on Tuber Chat. If you guys want to connect and grow, go to Tuber Chat. But Car, my observation, and I'll let Marley also pipe in on this because we've been doing these spaces on Wednesday, so we started hearing your story, and I remember at the beginning you were like, you were trying so hard. You're like, if I look real hard, if I try, like you were trying to have this connection and you were trying to figure things out. But then all of a sudden, from one day to the other, it seems like the answer came to you in your relationship with animals. You started talking differently. You had like, what was it that came up to you? Eating nuts out of your leg, man. I never. What was it? Tell them about that. That was crazy.
So that experience, that was
Curious,
weird.
too.
So I was camping with my family, and we got this cabin. They have these cabins in this area, right? We got a cabin. We're in it, whatever. And I left out some nuts or whatever. And the chipmunks, northern chipmunk, come around, and they love to scavenge. You know, you leave anything out, they're the ones that get into everything in your walls, and they're just scavengers, right? Like anything, they'll just scavenge. And I guess they, ate whatever was on the plate, whatever. So I thought it was cute, whatever. I waited. It was not until the day after, so I waited there on the porch, just calmly, listen to my music. Nothing that day. And on the next day, I see him from a distance. There was a garden that these people have done. And in this garden, there's a wooden pole. And this chipmunk loved to look on this wooden pole because to see what's going on, what's going on. And I looked at him and I called him over. And the first video was him checking me out. I have several videos on my YouTube. So one, he was checking me out. So he would run around. He wasn't quite sure. He got kind of close. And once he realized I was like fidgety, and I just kind of kept calm and just kept an eye on him and just talked to him very softly. And then he, I fed him one or two nuts, whatever. He took like 3, and then he buggered off. And it would take him some time, and he'd go up on the perch, and I would look at him, and he'd come running down the perch, and he'd come over, and to the point where I even told my family, I said, we're going to have a pet chipmunk. We're going to have one when we're camping here. And sure enough, this thing really got to like me because I'm calm, right? And so this chipmunk, I had the kids all over, the porch. I think I have it on my YouTube. And it's going around and around the kids and everything. It's just it's chummy with us. And then that's when I got him on my leg. I was able to get him on my chest. And chipmunks are like that as long as you're calm and kind-hearted. Once you're fidgety and you're skittish, they don't like it. Right, so you got to sync with the animal. You got to talk the animal language, right? And I've been practicing on my dog too. But yeah, so with that said, I went home and I missed that chipmunk. He really brought me joy, right? And so I befriended one here at the house, where I'm living, and I have video of it with. I was beside it, and I showed him my pile, and I showed him his pile. And he went to his pile and started eating the peanuts while I was going through the peanuts on my pile, like pretending I was eating them, right? And so he was
like you're one of them, yeah.
Right. And so you don't have to fear me. This is what I'm doing. And he was my pet. He would come out. I would hear him. And I had a blue jay. I don't know if anybody knows the blue jay. It's a very squawky bird, and they love shelled peanuts. And they are very like a crow. They will come back and they will talk to you as long as you're in tune with them, right? So, yeah. So that's the chipmunk story. It's
That and that's not just the one. It's like you're like birds coming up to you. Some videos that
birds,
you were putting
yeah.
out there. All of a sudden, you'd walk out in a flock of birds,
Oh, the
just like
freaking bunny.
start walking with like they're not even scared of you.
No,
And
that's
you know, you got to wonder about the consciousness of animals. You know, I know the cows talk to each other. I can see them talking to each other. Don't tell me they know how to communicate just fine.
right.
Ben,
like my dog.
yeah, go ahead.
Go
I
ahead.
want to go through the whole panel. No, I want to go through the whole panel, make sure. Who else before we get to, because Marley's got some particular experiences, but Dorothy and Benny. Let's go to Dorothy first. Connection to animals, thoughts.
I think my connection to animals has been solid all my life. I've had pets in the home, usually cats. And I think I groove on cat energy. And I remember telling you when that little kitty Bastet showed up at your place, is that Bastet? Hey, Bastet picked you. You didn't pick Bastet. You know?
She adopted us. Totally.
It's been that way every time with every cat I've ever had. I swear, I got a bird buddy here in the neighborhood, but it's only because I can match his call with the answer. There's a call and response bird, and I don't know what it is. But last year, I actually recorded myself in response to this bird. And this bird just kept doing its call, and I'd respond, and doing its call, and I'd respond, and doing its call, and I'd respond. And then, you know, it's at one point, it hesitated and it recognized that I wasn't doing it exactly right.
It's crazy though. I mean, but it responded, so it was right in some way.
Right. It was. That's the call, and then the responses. And you know, if you groove on the animal's energy and the animal's wavelength, they'll probably groove with you. I got squirrel friends that aren't even afraid of my cat. In fact, they kind of come up to the patio door and challenge my cat at the window. But they always get away because they're cagey that way. They're very, very clever.
Animals, and they can bring such joy. You can have a really, really bad day, and all of a sudden the bird will come up, or you'll see something in nature, or a caterpillar will walk by, and you're like, you don't notice them before, and all of a sudden you do. I want to call out some chats before, because I know that Marley has some thoughts on this too, and I want to make sure Benny shares. But Kelly says, I have a cat that moved into my roof. I have 2 male cats, and the cat that moved into my roof is a female cat. My 2 male cats do not like this cat, and they're constantly trying to run her off. That's like my Bastet won't let any of the rando cats move in, because she's like, hey, I work this area. I work this house. No one else is moving in. Hero, watch out for possums. They totally think they're cats. We've had possums walk up to our door, Hero. I totally agree. I love possums. They're so cute. Here's George wrote a story about befriending a squirrel. Oh my God. And Cindy, where's Cindy? Yeah. Cindy has, I always put the heart with a squirrel because she has a squirrel called Rocky that comes for peanuts all the time. And it's the same squirrel. It's crazy. And Fab, who's in California, had the same group of dolphins and a seal that would come up to him and let him pet him. Surfing the same spot over a few years. That's so awesome. Anyway, Marley, you've had many experiences with animals and some connections that people wouldn't necessarily expect. Poor Ben. Before you, Ben.
Let's do Ben. Let's
Ben. Your turn, Betty. Benny's in the dark. Benny in the dark. But Benny in the dark. Go ahead, Ben.
I haven't really got
never
any.
Coming back.
I haven't got a thought on that. I just know I've got a connection with dogs. Most dogs will take to me. That's about it, really.
Hey, it's interesting to me that we have like all these birds have taken over, but they sure know the difference between a cat and a dog. They will like totally go after the cat and the dog. They're like, She's a sweetie. It's like they're fine. Marley, tell us about your relationship with animals, which is it made a big difference in your life.
Well, I have been very connected to animals since I was a very young child because I didn't trust humans a whole lot because they thought they didn't understand me, right? But animals have always been able to understand me. And I've also been able to speak to them telepathically. You know, I have Kelly Lewis brought something up, and she said about animals being smarter than people realize. And that is so true. They are absolutely brilliant. And if we take a minute, pay attention to what the animals around us are doing, and we will learn things from them because they can show us how to treat other beings and how to love and how to provide. They are really incredible. And I wanted to let Cindy know that when I still lived in Canada, I had in my backyard, there was a gazebo and there was a bunch of trees. And this squirrel used to come down like so halfway down the tree, and he would just start, you know, talking to me and wagging his tail when he would see me. I actually have pictures of him. I wish I would have thought of it. I'll send them to you another time, Chris, so we can use them another time. But I called him Sammy the squirrel. And I used to sit down and meditate because that's a perfect way of grounding as well. So sitting on the earth, and the squirrel, I would call him over. I'd be like, Sammy, come here. And he'd sit up and he'd like have his little front paws like this, and he'd be wagging his tail and nattering away to me. And he would come over and lay across the front of my legs when it was time to meditate. And I knew he wasn't really a squirrel. He just looked like one. But every day, no fail, he didn't come out when anybody else was around. But as soon as I came, there he was. Thank you for knocking. And, you know, I thought he was kind of like one of my little alien friends, right? Because he just looked like a squirrel, but was speaking to me and meditating with me. And I wanted to share that with Cindy. But, you know, animals, this is for Conundrum, but everybody, they see the spirit world. They see angels and guides. If you have pets, pay attention to what they're doing at home, and you'll just see them kind of follow something along, look up. I mean, sometimes my pets will lick the air because they're licking the guides and the angels and the beings that are there because they're benevolent and they can tell, right? So they're very incredible, but they can sense and see our energies, and they can see our aura color. So they know when we're safe and when we're not. Always pay attention, guys, when an animal is going away from a human, because, I mean, that is a perfect way to tell if the person is a really good, benevolent person, because animals will take off or they'll try to attack, one or the other, right? If they're feeling threats. But they do have souls. And animals pick us. We don't pick them. And often they are our guides coming in as a pet to love us, because, you know, our pets love us without condition. And that's a real thing. And it's really, really tough when people mistreat animals, because even when you mistreat these animals, they still love you, right? No matter what. But we have to be very cognizant on what we are teaching our pets, because they pay attention and they are learning for other incarnations later down the road for them. So be careful what we're teaching them. If we are abusive and mean-spirited to animals, then when they reincarnate, they will be abusive and mean-spirited and end up on a lower dimensional plane than what they should be in. So they pay attention to what we're doing so that they learn, because they take all of that with them. And they operate out of telepathy. So they can read our minds. They know what we're thinking and we're feeling, and they know when we're safe and we're not. But you've got some pictures too, Chris.
Yeah, I'm about to show those. Hold on. And I have some comments in the chat. Hold on, you guys. I know there's a lot of comments that I'm going to show, but I've got some pictures of you. Here we go. There you go. Do you see that one?
Yep, the macaws.
Yeah,
I was in Dominican Republic, and birds have always been a huge thing, but I had a life, actually a couple of lives as a bird being. So the birds, they love me, and the birds are all around the property here and coming to visit all the time. But yeah, they just literally come to me. And I used to actually own a blue and gold macaw. And so this was so incredible this day, because they came over and a bunch of people were taking pictures, and people were freaking out going, oh my God, like it's going to bite you. It's like, no, they're not. Like, stop manifesting that,
Yeah.
But yeah, they are beautiful, and birds are very intelligent, highly, highly intelligent animals. And this is my dolphin excursion. So
They're so cute. I love dolphins so much.
I know. And for this one, I was in a boat on a little cruise, and I had my arm laying just in the water on the boat. And all of a sudden I heard this beautiful sound, and it was like singing. And then I felt something knocking my arm. So my arm was just kind of going flying. And I look over, and it was like a whole bunch of a whole pack of dolphins. And the guy on the boat knew what I was going to do. I stood up and I said, I'm going in. And he's like, oh my gosh, no, please don't. There's sharks in this water. And I said, no. The dolphins are not going to allow a shark to get, anywhere close to me. But these two specific dolphins here in this picture, they didn't want even the other dolphins to get too, thank you for knocking, to get too close to me either. They wanted me kind of all to themselves. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. And everybody else in the boat, they were too afraid to jump in. And then they complained that they didn't jump in the whole way back to the coast. So
what a missed opportunity. What
absolutely.
A missed opportunity. I love this. This is one of my favorites right here.
Yes. Well, that little guy ran over to me. I was sitting on the beach under one of those little huts. And then he runs over. So I stand up, and he crawled up me, and he loved my hat. But he ended up peeing on me because he got so excited. So the pee went down my back.
Oh my God.
He just absolutely adorable. And he was just, for whatever reason, everybody else at this resort, he picked me. And so he stayed with me for hours, this little monkey. So yeah, very cool experiences.
Very cool.
I had an experience with a bear in British Columbia, Canada, where I was on my four-wheeler to go to a natural spring to fill up water jugs. And this beautiful big bear was in the middle of the road. And I turned the corner on the mountain, going around the mountain, and the bear was right where the spring was. So I stopped my four-wheeler, and we just loved each other. So it was well over a half an hour, and I was speaking his language. And at one point he stood up, he's like, oh, he's talking back to me. But it was so cool. I turned my four-wheeler off because my discernment told me there's no way that he's going to harm me. And it was just such an incredible, incredible experience. I've only had one bad animal experience, and that was because I was in their territory, and I think I startled a snake when I was rock climbing at Rattlesnake Point in Milton. And it completely separated my shoulder. I had a rock climbing accident with that because the snake I put my hand in this crevice, and I think the snake maybe was sleeping in there. So he came out and turned his body, and he charged right for my nose with his fangs.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, no, not today. That's not happening today.
That freaked me out.
Yeah, but
Gotta say, I would not enjoy that one.
yeah, animals are incredible, and I just resonate with them so much. And I mean, I talk to insects, you know, like I will have a full-on conversation with a spider. You know, it's all good, you know, 40 minutes talking to a spider. And if you pay attention, if you wave to the spider and talk, they actually wave back. They tilt their head to listen to what
They
you're
look
saying.
at you.
Yeah.
I've been talking to spiders lately. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? But I am. And it's like, there's this one little one of those jumping spiders keeps coming into the house. I keep putting him out of the house. He keeps coming back into the house. The same freaking spiders. Like, dude, I'm trying to save you from a cat. Not paying attention to me. But I do want to call out before, because we have some paranormal pixie. Laura's so sweet, Marta. You'd love her. I met her at, was it Roswell? It was at Roswell. Pretty sure it was Roswell. So I have cats, but she is like a Disney princess. So paranormal pixie is the perfect name for her. She's a Disney princess when it comes to animals, and they all seem to be attracted to her. Dude, everybody is. People love you, girl. So Dorothy had to leave. I'm so sorry. We didn't get to say goodbye to Dorothy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. But she's like, when I'm sick, my cat just lays down on my bed, stays there. And exactly, they give you that, there's no expectations. They just love you. But I love it when they purr, when you give them love back and they like react to it.
And you know what? Animals like cats and dogs have actually been able to detect disease, cancers, and sicknesses in people because they will go to that spot wherever the cancer or disease is affecting your body. And they will literally lay there to try and change the energy to make you better. So they are extremely plugged in, you know?
Yep. And one last one I wanted to read from Moon and Noon. Cats are awesome, but dogs. So we got the dog, you know, let's represent dogs properly. Gifted to us by the divine, in my opinion. Every job we needed help with to survive as a species was built. It was built into the wolf. Dogs remain 100% wolf, but they aren't. They're lovely. I mean, they just love you, and it doesn't matter what's going on. They're there to make you feel better every day. So, okay, we are breaking rules all over the place because you know what? It's Mindforked, so there are no rules. So what I'm going to do next is Benny, you awake, Benny?
Yeah.
Benny in the dark, Marley. So we had a little category called the surprise category, and this was because Ben asked about tarot. And so we do have somebody that does tarot, and she is going to do a reading for the collective for us right now. And then let's talk a few minutes about tarot and kind of like you've been getting into it. I want to have that conversation. So Marley, I'll leave it to you, girl.
Yes,
The one card.
Go ahead and chat for a minute. I'm just shuffling here to see what comes up for us today. But this is special for Ben. And this is my Beyond Lemuria tarot. So here we go. So the sacral chakra came up. Can you see that?
I'm going to put it, hold on. Give me a second. I want to make it, there we go.
Okay.
Sacral
So,
chakra.
Core of creation. So let me just tell you what 34, what it says. Okay. The sacral chakra, the core of creation, it surrounds feelings, emotional responses, pleasure, sensuality, intimacy, connection, letting go, creativity, passion, healthy boundaries, and valuing the body. You are invited to revel in the present moment and feel deeply into your senses, the sensuality of being alive, the breeze on your skin, the scent of damp earth, the feeling of fitting perfectly into the temple that you call your body. This card is about diving into the depths of a moment where all your faculties are available for divine creation. Your entire paint kit is present, as no part is left in the past or caught in the future. All of who you are unites in a point of deep experience. This is the ecstatic moment of conception for a project or new life. Let yourself drop into passion, intimacy, and loving connection with whatever you are birthing into the world and with whomever you have chosen to co-create with. Get in touch with your creativity and embrace your natural expression, whatever that looks like to you. The way you live is an art form, a unique expression of yourself. You can dance through challenge, sing through restriction, and paint your reality. Your relationship with your body, your sensuality, and your sexuality are the themes for this card. The healing position is your lower abdomen and pelvis area, and the color is vibrant orange. So there's that card. There you go for the tarot.
So, Benny, what you think? Does that resonate with you? What's
A little
to get
bit.
out of that?
I'm not sure. But I only delved into it just I just had a little bit of an interest over a video. And it was about the time, I think I told you, about when the MH370 video came out. And I just asked a past, present, future question. That's all. I didn't want to know anything about myself in future, anything. It was that. And the answers were, the first card for past was, it's been a colossal effort. It's been a massive effort. The present card was just, the basic meaning was retrace your steps. And the future card was, yes, just simply yes. And that was it.
Interesting.
That's what and if it has been a big effort to try and find that plane, and retracing your steps, going over the data we've got, we think we've found where it is now, and they are restarting the search. So I think they'll find it, and I think that's what the cards said.
I think that was, yeah, the cards told you what was about to happen. And personally, I just want closure for the families of these poor people, because that was a terrible tragedy, and I'm just really respectful of it. But it is interesting how sometimes you ask cards, especially those past, present, future. I do it with Oracle, and it will tell me something that I'm like, dang, that makes more sense than what I would have come up with, even if I tried.
It only because I were interested in. I watched a few videos on it, and it just intrigued me. And it was just, I didn't want to know anything about myself or I asked any questions about my future. All I wanted, and I thought something that would be an interesting question, and that's what it came out with. It just seems
that was a really good way to do it, right, Marley, for him? Because I mean,
Yeah.
you weren't asking for personal gain. You were just like very. No. That was a good structure. Ben, I mean, you've been using them since? First of all, I want to say hi to Elena. Elena, haven't seen her in
I haven't
ages.
done it since.
You should. Why not? Does it interest you on other things?
It has interested me, but I
is
just
one
haven't had a
thing.
chance yet. I will have. I'm gonna have another go maybe with it at some point.
If you do, let us know. We're there Wednesdays, right? Here in the next few weeks, we'll pick that back up. We're on Spaces. We talk stuff like this. It's like, how do you get, like, signs and synchronicities is big for me. And that's where the tarot and Oracle come in really well. So who knows, Ben?
And it's really
You may have a gift.
great to ask questions.
Just that, only that particular question that I could think of off the top of my head at the time. That was it. Nothing. It was just I was just intrigued into it, and I've read the book, what came with it. It's interesting. I like to go delve back into it at some point.
I think it's like a combination, right? It's like meditation, being in the moment, taking those daily steps to be more present in the now. And then that in combination with a lot, the technicalities of tarot and, how to really read them. I mean, it's just, there's so many great topics in this space that there's never a lack of content, is there? It's like we can always come up with something really interesting, and there's no right or wrong answer. I don't think anybody has all the answers yet. But hey, you guys want to play a game before we start kind of wrapping things up?
Yep.
Yeah, for a game? Let's go play a game, shall we? Is chat up for the game? Unless the chat's like, no, I'm bored. I don't want to play no stinking games. Yeah, I think they'll like games. Okay, so to get us going, so this is part of the next segment. Hold on, I'm just gonna...
Attention! Hey, listen up, everybody! I'm Gary Granger.
And I'm Becky Martin Granger.
Can you guys hear?
We're the owners and directors here at Camp Chippewa, America's foremost facility for privileged young adults.
And we're all here to learn, to grow, and to just plain have fun.
Because that's what being privileged is all about.
Are you ready to play a game? Because we're in Camp Forkawa. Camp Forkawa is open for business, and we're about to play a little race game. And guess what? I have been taking notes of everybody. Hold on, let me make sure everybody's represented on this list. Everybody that's been, this is going to be a heck of a race going on here, you guys. Okay, are you ready? We're going to do an alien race between the panelists and the chat. They're all in there. Hold on, it's coming. If I can figure out one of my many screens. I have too many. Not too many. Hold on, please. Oh, not video file. Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. This won't take too long. There we go. Discuss. Hold on. Here we go. We got our alien race. Are you guys ready to play? Because everybody in the chat is on this list. I'm going to set it 35 seconds. There's somewhere in there. There's a bunch of people. Are you guys ready? 1, 2, ready, set. Bobby's taking an early lead. Then we have Lulu. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but Lulu's taking a lead. We don't know where Lulu's going with this. Good, Lulu, take it. We got Fappy there in the back. Paranormal Pixie, you're falling behind, sweetie. I'm over here in the purple. I'm some kind of squid thing. Marley, Bobby, no, Marley's starting to take a lead. Marley's starting to take a lead. Wait, Curious George is coming. Will he beat Marley? No. Marley. It was a tight one. Hold on, if I could ever come up with the end of this. So yes, Marley has won the race. Hold on. I have too many. I literally have 20,000 screens.
Thank you.
You guys, Ben, you were in there. I don't know if you saw yourself. You were kind of in the back, but yeah, you guys all competed. Everything was all great. In the next show, because we've now gone way over. So I have some places that I want to take us to, and I think I'm going to save those for the next show because we got the Giza pyramids and the mysteries of Giza, and two of my favorite places, Teotihuacan and Tiahuanaco, where they have actually found caves. They have caves. I mean, they're like built underneath. I think Teotihuacan has mercury. They found mercury underneath this pyramid, this very, very old pyramid, and everything's just straight edge, just perfect construction. And the same with Tiahuanaco, which is in the middle of Peru, and we know that Peru is just a magical land. So we're going to save those for the next time. But I'm going to start wrapping things up, so I'm going to go in order here. Helen of Crystals, what are you up to next? What's going on in your life? Everything okay? Anything else you want to bring up?
No, not really. Yeah, no, just day to day these days.
I loved what you had to share on your experiences. I loved, thank you so much for all those beautiful crop circle, pictures and being able to discuss all that with us. I just really, really appreciate it. And we're going to keep having you on and whatever, I love the casual, Helen. So you're always welcome here. And hopefully you felt really welcome and
Thank
at home
you,
with us.
always, and love to everyone else who came on. It's been a
I
great
know.
evening.
It's
Well,
been
it's
such a
afternoon
great
with
day.
you, isn't it? Evening
Yeah,
here.
it's like it is almost 5:30 and I haven't eaten all day, so I'm starting to get hungry. So that's why I'm like, I have to
You
go
need to
eat.
go eat, girl.
I was getting ready for the show. So Benny and the Jets, Benny in the Dark. What are you up to next, Benny?
Nothing much. Well, I'm just but day to day like Helen, but I'm on about going up to Dolby Forest in a couple of weeks. Apparently, that's some paranormal stuff up there.
We'd love to see Ben reports. We'd love to, share if you're out there on the, hey, that's, we're a community. If you guys are on location, take some video, share with us, because it's like the boots on the ground research is the best for ufology, paranormal, Bigfoot, cryptids, past lives. There's so much. So, but Ben, I wanted to thank you so much for being here today. I can
No
really
problem.
see you, but I know you're there in the dark. But anyway, it's been lovely. You're just a lovely, lovely man, and I'm just really happy that you were here. Carnumdrum, are you still there, buddy? Kermit the Frog there.
Kermit the Frog here. Yeah.
There we go. Please do your entire outro as that voice. I dare you to just go with that. What are you up to, Car?
I'm healing right now. I'm right now. I'm in the healing state. I was playing baseball today, and I didn't want to say it on live, but hey, why not? I took a nosedive. I was third base.
No.
Yeah, no, and he got out. We were on the field, and I caught the ball. It was a ball that was coming in, and I had to reach for it. And he went for the run. He thought I would drop it, right? So I reached for the ball, and I caught it. And I ran for him. And like I said, I'm a big guy. And so I started running, but my forward momentum didn't really help me much. And I end up nosediving into the ground. I think I did some damage to my nose maybe, and then definitely my arm. But with that said, I almost got him with the ball. And when I didn't, I would try to, on the drop, like as I'm going down, I try to toss the ball. So I don't even use my hands to brace myself. I try to toss the ball over this guy and end up hitting his shoulder, right? But I could have gotten him out, right? So yeah, I landed on my nose, and
I'm impressed.
I look fine, right? But I'm sore.
You did not
so
look
sore.
like you took a nosedive to anything, especially when you're like photobombing. Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh
Right?
dang, dude.
And then I got
Owie.
right.
Oh, look
I
at the hand. Go lift it up a little bit.
That's that
Ooh.
hand, and then that hand, right? So that's the brunt of it. So I got it on my nose, and then my arm. I can't,
poor guy.
like this arm, I can't really lift it. So yeah, so I'm doing some healing with my dog,
I feel bad. You should have been in bed resting, not
I know.
online.
I'm like, I sit in this chair and I'm doing this, and I'm like, and my wife walks by, and I just go, I don't think I can leave this chair. I don't think I'm
Poor
just stuck here.
Car.
If she goes for 4 hours, I'm screwed, because I'm just gonna sit here. I'm not gonna end the show.
There we go. We're gonna go all night long.
I would have stayed here. I wouldn't have moved.
Poor Car. I love you, Car. You're the best.
Oh man, I was funny. It's fun. It's been fun. Thank you for having me, eh? This has been funny.
No, I'm so glad you were here. It's doing enough face plant. There's Curious George making it funny. Poor Car. We'd call that a face plant back in the day. Poor Car. And we're all laughing, but it's not funny because
It's funny. It was funny. I'm sore, but it was funny. I'm like, did anybody videotape that? Because I don't want to be going through YouTube and all of a sudden see this. I'm like, is that me? And it has 10,000 likes, thousands of comments.
We like,
say what
check
a
out this
dumbass.
guy.
I don't need it right now. My feelings are already hurt.
You don't need any more salt in that paper cut. Okay,
Right.
so Marley, Betty, I keep gonna say Betty, Marley, your turn. What do you have going on next? You got a lot going on.
Well, we've got our spaces that we do together Wednesdays. We're just on a break for a couple weeks, but then we'll be back doing the spaces again. I just needed a little breather from the X platform. But between this and that, it's just so incredible. And then we've got, we're trying to plan a big soul reunion this summer and retreat because some of you know her, Simone Louise from the X platform, who's a complete angel. She's going to be visiting from Australia. Yeah. And so we're going to try and put a couple of reunions and retreats because this is about bringing the soul fam back together again. Because some of us haven't connected or reconnected for millennia. And so this is going to be a really kind of incredible thing. And that's in the planning stages right now. But yeah, it's just all about increasing the consciousness. I love, Ben, that you were here today. It's just such a pleasure for you to be here. Carnundrum, my Canadian buddy, my brother. You rock. And it was fun photobombing with you.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
That was great.
I need to clip that.
Yeah. And Helen, always such a pleasure, sister, to spend some time with you. I absolutely love and adore you so much. And I'm hoping I've got company coming from Holland tomorrow for 2 weeks. But after that, I would just really like to connect with you, Helen, outside of these platforms so that we can get into a deep conversation. But yeah, this was fun. And of course, everyone in the chat, you guys rock.
Oh my God, I'm looking.
I catch myself I try to watch here, look head on, and I'm constantly moving, because I want to try to keep up with what's going on in the chat. And of course, thank you for knocking.
There we go.
Akashi Chris,
I love you, girl.
Amazing sister. I love you so much. And this is so much fun. You and I,
Did you guys have fun?
We have such a blast together. Yeah. And I appreciate you and your presence in my life so much. I love you.
I appreciate you, girl. I am just so happy. Everybody, I'm looking at the chat while you guys are talking because everybody's had such a good time. And yes, Goga tomorrow. I'm going to be on Goga tomorrow talking, we're going to be talking mental health, being open-minded, yet keeping that, that balance. So it's going to be really, really cool. And we got Contact in the Desert. So we're going to be attending that. I think, Helen, you're also going to be attending. So Marley and myself and Helen, I think we're going to be online doing the virtual Contact in the Desert. And hopefully we'll talk about that after it's done. We'll kind of brief you guys on that. And yeah. So this has been so fun. I was so nervous because I was so busy at work all week, and I like to have everything all planned out, know my videos in place, and be a little bit more organized. But hopefully, you still had fun. So
it was great.
Thank you guys so much. So I'm gonna play us off with the outro and let you guys have the rest of your Saturday evening. Thank you, everybody from the chat, for being here. I can't wait to see you guys again. Movie night is going to come back. So there's another 2 shows that are coming. One with the Old Vet Symposium. We're going to be talking about the special secret programs. Yes, Carr has his fork up.
Are you going to do the Discord thing now? Because I just want to let you know, I have a Discord, but I only played with it a little bit. Nobody's on it, but I streamed the hockey game on there. And naturally, can't stream hockey. You can't stream hockey games. right?
No.
And so they have
can't
that
do
on
that.
lockdown. So it may be your go-to. I'm just letting you know, right?
Yeah,
For
because
things that-
on YouTube I'll
Yeah.
do public domain movies, but
Okay.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
on Discord I would love to do some nights with like the Revenge of the Giant Tomatoes, or like Crazy Killer Clowns from Outer Space is one that I'm like
Or What
dying
About
to air
Bob,
for
right?
everybody.
What about
What about Bob?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right?
Baby steps to my vacation. Baby steps into the bus. Baby steps out of this show, obviously, because I'm never saying goodbye. I love you guys. I'm going to play our outro. Oh, Marley, yes. Yeah,
I would just wanted to say to Carnundrum, because he'll understand this. The good old hockey game is the best game you can name. The best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Yeah, of course I know that. Yeah.
Hey,
Canadian.
I didn't know that
eh?
one, eh?
And I was just talking about that vintage stuff. I was just thinking about that. They don't have those heritage commercials anymore.
No.
Remember those ones with the logger going down and had that nice metally, and then they had the hockey games with the Montreal in it.
Yeah.
I forget the player's name, but yeah, there was like a little, thing for that.
If these are old commercials, I'm still finding them for the next movie night, because you know how I love my vintage commercials.
Yeah.
And I've already covered Vegemite in Australia, so I'm going to go up to Canada and start covering commercials from there. So
We've got
you guys,
good ones. Canadian
I know they
broadcasting
do.
back in the day was good. It was very educational. It was great. But then something happened. I don't know, TikTok or something. But like, other than that, like, yeah, it was pretty good.
I like it. So I might be picking some inspiration out of Canada for my next movie night. But you guys, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. And hopefully we'll keep doing these every once in a while. Get together, throw some topics. Let's just kind of go at it and, work through this puzzle. Because that's what it's about, right? It's like putting together this puzzle. Okay? Love you. I'm going to play us off with a little outro. And if you guys can hang on for a second backstage, and I'll say goodnight to you guys. I'm going to put you back. Car. Mwah, love you. Put in your backstage. Benny in the dark. Bye. Poor Ben. I did it again. Helen, love you. Mwah. I'll see you in a second. And Marley, honey, thank you so much. Mwah, my co-host, my darling. I will talk to you in a second. And I hope you guys had a good time today. I did. I had a really good time. So I'm going to play us off with our outro. And don't forget to go to Yoga with Goga tomorrow to see me. And then we'll see when we bump into each other next. And I'm looking for my video and outro. There we go. And where is it? There we go. Ciao. Love you guys. Peace.